have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars Wrestling Show, episode 233. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my right is the current reigning and defending Scholars of Wrestling champion and Mr. Scholar in the Bank himself, Scholar Tarek. What's up tonight, sir?
First episode of the Scholars of Wrestling of 2019. It's going to be a great year for the Scholars of Wrestling. We will continue to make this show better and better every day, every week, every year.
Absolutely.
That comes in the future.
Heck yeah. Isn't that right? To my left, the master of douchery himself, Scholar Bryan.
It is indeed a new year, and hopefully, and a fresh start for all involved, and hopefully it's a better year than 2018.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll see what happens.
Yes.
The last few months, woof.
Yes. And we're going to get to it all. We've got a whole new year full of new possibilities and all new wrestling. And we're going to get into all of that in a little segment we like to call a Backstage News.
Indeed. We shall return at peeking behind that curtain and checking in on a little
Backstage News. 2019 minute.
There we are. It's a new year full of, well, new news. It's Backstage News, starting us off with a little bit of good news that just dropped on the new year. For those of you who have been following Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and the rest of the crew of the Elite, they have officially announced at midnight on New Year's Day they have their new business venture, which is All Elite Wrestling, which I admit, when I heard some murmurs about that from you guys last week, I was like, I'm not selling it, but at the same time, I'm like, where the hell did they hear this? And then I saw this, All Elite Wrestling, and what is essentially all into Double or Nothing, coming apparently to Las Vegas, maybe?
Did they announce a date for this event?
I don't think they did. They just announced the name of it, that it's actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing with All Elite Wrestling is they didn't confirm it until New Year's Eve. But it had been... Like, I don't know where you were getting the I'm not buying this, because it had been talked about since All In. That this was coming together, and yeah, it wasn't confirmed or anything, but there was enough
all
going around to make it. It was pretty much like 95% certain that this was a thing.
All In was pretty much their experiment to see how they would promote their own show, and we all saw, All In was a great success. And it just led to them thinking, okay, let's make a promotion out of this, and All Elite was born, and
Cody.
It was more than just speculation. It was just a matter of time when they were going to announce.
Oh,
this.
sure.
And once they started talking about the countdown, I knew exactly what it was.
Yeah. To be fair, the speculation was not that they were going to do something. The speculation, or the things that were up in the air in my mind, was always going to be, what form was this going to take? Was this going to be All In 2? Was this going to be some other independent wrestling league? Turns out it's both. And I honestly couldn't be happier. This looks like a tremendous prospect with a whole ton of hype behind it. The question I've got for you is, what do you see for the future of All Elite Wrestling? What form do you think it'll take?
The whole thing... The big thing coming out of this is that there's finally an alternative in the States for WWE. Okay, you had Impact, but it's going to a new network that nobody has. Okay, when it was on a network that people have, nobody watched it. So, but nobody, no big wrestling fan in their right mind is going to be like, oh, All Elite Wrestling. it's just another one of those Impact Wrestling kind of deals that is going to fizz out in a year. No, these guys are on top of their game in all ways. Marketing, what you need to run a business. Okay,
the money.
Cody Rhodes knows how to run a wrestling promotion through his family. Okay, he knows the ins and outs. So if anybody could do it, it's this guy. Okay, and we saw All In one rousing success. Like, it couldn't have possibly gone any better. So just going off of that, I'm more excited about the independent wrestling scene right now than I have ever been.
Fool, any thoughts about where you can want to see or where you think All Elite Wrestling could go?
Well, I think it'll definitely surpass Impact. I don't think it's gonna start. It's definitely gonna start out small. Like it's not gonna be like.
It's not right away.
Yeah, it's not going to be like all of a sudden, okay, a week in, it's already the top promote. It's already giving WWE a run for its money. No, not at all. It's definitely going to be that. It's definitely going to find its footwork, obvious as all businesses starting from the ground up do, and it eventually will get a TV deal. It'll probably even cross promote with New Japan, Ring of Honor, and possibly Impact. It'll slowly build itself up to a point where it could eventually become a competitor for WWE, even get a TV deal on a small channel.
You know what, though? With these guys running it right now and with the success that they had with that pay-per-view, with All In, I don't think it's gonna be that long. I could see within the year that it opened, that the promotion opens, them having a TV deal.
I agree. So that's the time frame I had in mind as well.
Although I do agree on the time frame, I do think their approach is going to be slightly different than what was just outlined here. There are two main things that come to mind for me personally. I think, first of all, in terms of presentation and their dedication to the core wrestling fan audience, aka people like us, in understanding that, I think that they're going to instead take more of a next generation Ring of Honor type of vibe to it. I can see, even though some sort of distribution deal being locked down absolutely within the first year or even sooner, first of all, I think they're first and foremost, I think they're going to go after the Ring of Honor audience first. They're going to make sure that they're satisfied in anything. Before they hit WWE, which is going to be, I think they're going to be a long ways away from direct competition from WWE. However, I think it's much more likely that we're going to get something like AEW versus a Ring of Honor feud, or even AEW versus, or like a AEW versus New Japan mashup, something like that.
Oh, there's definitely going to be New Japan. Definitely, no doubt.
Oh yeah, but before all of that, in terms of distribution, I don't think they're going to put, as much as I'm sure they love to have a TV deal, I'm not entirely certain they're going to make that their first priority.
Not at all.
I think they're going to make in terms of distribution anyway.
Streaming service.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're going to make their first and foremost thing streaming services. Because let's face it, anyone can set up a Twitch channel. Anyone can set up some sort of presence on YouTube Live. Just for everyone from the layman to multi-billion-dollar media companies. There's tons of there's a huge user base, especially on YouTube and Twitch. So the audience is ripe for the picking, and let's face it, if we've got a legitimate alternative for wrestling that's accessible and relatively inexpensive, I don't know about you, but I'll watch it.
Oh, of course.
Oh, easily.
And I think that guys like the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, all these guys, they're all our age. They all understand this just as well as we do, if not more, due to the business acumen of guys like Cody. So, gentlemen, we look forward to what happens next.
It's definitely going to be an exciting year.
Yes. Also, Cody Bucks, please subscribe to our channel. We love you. So off for the camera, and we're done. Now we're going from some very good news to some very sad breaking news that just happened a couple days ago as of this recording.
It was yesterday.
Oh, wow.
2019 did
January
not wait.
2nd. That 2019
Did not wait.
2019 decided to say fuck you immediately.
Well,
Yeah.
welcome to the new year.
Yes.
Welcome to the new year. Now fuck off.
Yes, and unfortunately, we lost a good one. We had to say goodbye to Mean Gene Okerland, one of the biggest and most well-known, let's say, announcers, backstage interviewers, whatever you want to call them. There was no voice quite like Mean Gene Okerland.
He was basically the last survivor of that announcing, commentating era. Okay, because Bobby the Brain went, Gorilla Monsoon went, and Mean Gene was like the last part of that trio. And so that makes it hit home even more, because most of the big memories back then, Mean Gene had something to do with them. Through the build-up, through the moments, in-ring moments, and all that. So it's like any big feud that you've seen, Hulk Hogan, Andre, all that.
Mean Gene was right in the middle.
Mean Gene was right in the middle of it, and so much so that you saw him at WrestleMania every year until recently. And now we know why. Because it came out today that he had been ailing for about a year, and then he took a fall about
I remember reading about
a few
that.
weeks ago. And he really screwed up his ribs, and when you're already ailing and you're 76 years old, yeah,
that doesn't go well.
So yeah, this really sucks, but it also makes you look back.
What was the one event that he was having a backstage interview and the sign went down and he just dropping the F-bomb?
Yeah.
What show was that?
I thought it was Survivor Series.
I was gonna say it's either SummerSlam or Survivor Series. It was an S named event.
I know. Why is that the only thing we remember? I want to say it's Survivor Series though.
And then just all the sign coming down. And he's like, "Oh,
fuck!
What is this?" He just completely lost his cool.
And that's the one time too, because everyone he's interviewing people. Okay, they're freaking out, and he's the straight man the entire time, like not moving his head, not getting emotional or anything. He's just letting them air their shit out, and that's the difference between Mean Gene and anyone doing it today.
Like Charlie. Ugh.
Yeah, they gotta inject
Caruso?
I don't like her.
They gotta inject
She looks
their
like a fish.
Yeah, the people
How do
today.
you really feel?
I think she's boring and she looks like a fish. There, that's my opinion on Charlie.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the people today, okay, they have to inject their emotion into it. Like they gotta act like they're cool with the faces, and they gotta be to the heels. When Mean Gene was just like,
and then once the wrestlers leave the interview, they just go, "That's them today."
yeah, and
Look pensively constipated.
Not back to you guys out at the table. It's just, I don't understand what they're saying.
Look slightly off screen.